you know, a lot of dialogue in Hollywood movies is done. I mean, they
Right.
re-record it.
Yeah, some people, not everybody can afford multiple recording things, but I know a couple YouTubers that I watch that actually they have. The one actually is he always says like two sources of audio. Always have two sources of audio. Always like he records like with his camera and has like a shotgun mic on it, but then he also has like a smaller recording thing with like a lapel mic. So if
Oh, just in case
yeah,
I wanted
which
to
it's
split it up.
happened. I mean, even after he says all that, like there was a video where he didn't have it and it got messed up, and he's like, "Now I don't have the audio for it."
Oh, that would suck.
And so he reiterated, like, "Yep, this is why I always say have at least two." And I didn't do it because he was like doing it in a different room in his house, not his studio. So like he didn't take everything to set it up and bit him in the ass.
Oh yeah, right. Do you have a decent?
Yeah, I got a 45 and an Eva. Oh, Mastiff, even better.
All right.
I have one med kit already.
I got
Alright, well,
one.
you can.
Oh well, okay, whatever. I'll pick it up. I can't believe nobody landed
Yeah.
this.
I was thinking about going into oh hell yeah, going to the firing range, but I figured whatever. We'll jump into a game. I am streaming only so I could get clips. I don't want any good things that happen to be wasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you will, if it's not too much trouble or whatever, send me a few clips. I mean, like, they don't have to be like heavily edited. Just, I mean, if you want to send me some old ones or something, and I wouldn't mind like maybe playing with them in there and cutting together a few highlights. I don't know when I'll get to it, if I get to it, but
Yeah.
I kind of want to learn this a little bit, and having some real material to work with makes it easier to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. I could do that. Oh yeah, I actually just got one. Prowler? I'm gonna stick with the 99. I guess you're good on ammo.
Yeah, I'm good.
Because I have.
Man, there's a lot of loot in here when you're just
Yeah,
two people.
normally there's a third, and that's if we land alone. Alright, so I got 60 heavy bullets that I don't need anymore.
Oh, thank you.
Committing to what I have. Oh, shots to the northwest, I guess, or northeast. Northeast. Oh, so I can ping stuff through walls, I think.
I bet we'll find something good.
How close do I have to be?
Oh, yeah. I think you have to. Oh, well, I mean, you'd have to be seeing it anyway. I guess you just have to put your crosshairs on it like you would a normal piece of loot.
Yeah, it was probably like, I don't know, it's hard to judge how far in game, but I was probably had to be within
Care package on the way. I like the sound.
20 feet maybe.
Oh, okay.
Shit, there's a hemlock. Is there enough heavy ammo around here?
Shotgun ammo here.
I can give you 2 boxes.
Okay, yeah, I think I want to do that. Drop the, drop the 99.
I can give you a stack,
Okay.
actually.
Well, thank you. Are you in your lights? I can give you 2 stacks of light if you're interested.
Light ammo here.
I got plenty of light. Got a scout.
Yeah, the hemlock does so much damage. I needs it.
Yeah, I like the hemlock. We're on duo. Yeah, we are. Okay.
Oh, hey, Mr. Robot.
Speedfire here.
How many med kits do you got?
I got 2. I got plenty of
Okay.
heals, really.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, my problem is I always go too overboard on the heals. Like, and I want to break that habit.
Yeah, I like to have a big, if I can, I like to have a stack of big and a stack of small of each kind, and that's about enough.
Yeah, I need to figure out. I guess I could try it, see what happens. I just need to experiment with some stuff because, like, I don't know. I'm gonna drop a stack of small.
Yeah,
Syringe here.
if it's only taking up 4 slots, you know, a stack of big and a stack of, or that and a Phoenix kit, you know, so it's up to 5 slots. Then you got room for a little ammo and grenades too, but hopefully you're not on the gray backpack.
Yeah,
and
that's
right
the
now,
thing. I wanna figure out something that is efficient enough to run with just the gray bag. If that's all I got, that's like,
yeah.
I don't know, just something. Because I wound up like not having grenades, and like especially when we were just playing last, like grenades helped a lot. And I know that they do, but it's just like kind of a wake up call that like we won fights we probably wouldn't have won if we didn't have grenades.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, true. If you have a Phoenix kit, that's kind of a substitute for one of the other big kinds of heals. So like you could have 2 med kits, a Phoenix kit, and some small shield cells or small syringes without either a battery or a med kit,
We're already in the next
and
room.
have
Good.
Phoenix kit of some syringes and some shield cells. You could do with 4 slots is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Oh, there's a box in here. Nothing good.
Extended frag grenade here.
301. Oh, there's another box up here. This is the Phoenix kit. Select fire.
Hop up here. Select fire. Extended light mag here. Level 2. Optics
I
here.
don't know if you have
here.
optics or not.
Close range.
Yeah, about all I need right now is armor and a bag. Oh, I see people on the roof of the market.
Okay. Oh, there's a blue Eva up
I
here.
don't think they saw
Blue
me.
Eva.
Shields here. Level 2. Ready to do some
Oh
damage.
yeah, I'll take
It's
I'll
empty,
take
but
that.
I can drop shit to fill it.
I've got some cells. Oh no, I'm not the robot.
Went outside and dropped the gas trap.
Where's the Oh, here's the entrance. Damn, couldn't find the entrance to the building you're in here.
Yeah, my bad about not getting back to you last night. I just
Oh, wait a minute.
I didn't even see it till super late.
Oh, I don't mind. Yeah, no, I don't care. I mean, I remembered you said you were supposed to get the Switch, so.
Oh, there was a blue one in there? Oh shit, my bad. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I didn't see where the
Evo's
Evo
right
one
here.
was. I didn't
Evo
ping
shield
it.
here.
And
Level 2.
yeah, I'm gonna take this regular blue one, I guess, for now. But yeah, I thought. Oh yeah, hey, they're still
On
over
the
there.
market, you said?
Yeah, on the roof. You want to attack him or see if somebody else attacks him? Oh, they've moved. Okay, like one of them is over
Okay, yeah.
there.
I
They're
don't
both over there.
see. I'm looking through the railing, but I'm having a hard time seeing them. Okay, I see. Oh, you know what? I need my glasses. Is my problem.
Oh, one of them is I think he sees me. He's running around back and forth with no gun out like an
Okay,
asshole.
I see them.
Yeah, he's just trying to get us to.
To do that. Oh, there,
Yeah, you
here
want
they
to be a
come.
smart ass kid? You like being a smart ass?
Oh, did I break your shield and make you run away?
The sound of that.
Oh, you didn't know John Wayne was here, motherfucker? Oh, you want to push him? Oh, is there still somebody on the roof? I thought they both were down.
No, he jumped down, went back up.
I saw two people. One shielding up.
Yeah, there are
Okay.
two
We're
people.
already in the next ring. Good. More time to loot.
Oh, she jumped off the front here. Going inside.
I'm down from their partner. Hey, I've got a self-revive. I've got a
Where the
self-revive.
fuck are they shooting? Oh, there's somebody shooting at them too. Yeah, crawl.
If you want to retreat. I'm going
Yeah.
to drop off and self-revive.
I got you covered. How am I missing you? What the? Yeah, just run away. Damn.
Oh, god damn it. That was the other. That was the
Yeah, I
other
was
squad.
missing so many shotgun blasts. So many shotgun blasts. Shit wasn't even funny.
Yeah, that's one thing I hate. If you're missing a shotgun shot, is you got to wait for it
Yeah.
a lot longer than a rifle. You know.
Oh, did I just? Oh, I got the Apex pack from getting the treasure chest, I guess.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A Loba kill quip.
Yeah.
Quickest way to a man's heart is through his chest.
Quickest way to a man's heart is through his chest. I like it.
That is pretty funny.
So, I've been spending so much money. Like, it's not even funny. I was, from in the beginning, like, from not going out and not doing anything, like, all of a sudden I had, like, almost $1,000, like, super quick, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, and then once I broke 1,000, I was like, oh man, like, it hurt to spend money. Like, I waited till I got to, like, whatever, $1,400 or something before I made like a decent sized purchase on Amazon, like $100 or whatever, and that hurt. And then like I would wait till the next week for it to build up a little bit, and then I bought the PlayStation, which was $200, but I was up like 17 or 1,800. Bought that, and then I waited the next week till I got my other check, and then I bought something else. And then I wound up buying the iPad, which was like $350. I bought an Apple Pencil, which was $100. And then I got this week's check, or I guess last week's check, but the week before that I didn't get that check. So I wound up like, I don't know. It hurt in the beginning when I first, like, once I was like over $2,000, breaking $2,000 hurt, like actually hurt to see it in my bank account. And then we ordered food and did a couple things, and then like I spent hundreds of dollars and it didn't hurt anymore, and I just kept spending money. And now I'm like super sad about it. you thought you were coming to the party?
Oh shit. Oh, I'm a caustic. You're not hurting me with your caustic.
Oh shit, he's right up there. I need him. Yeah, I already killed your partner, buddy. You shouldn't have came and fucked with me, bro. Somebody else is here.
It's another.
Oh shit, I don't have any heals.
Oh, nade.
Shit, I only got like 20 light bullets. And
there are two people out here. There's another squad. It's another squad. Yeah. They're both up there, jumping down.
oh shit.
Yeah, whole other freaking squad.
Not
Damage.
going so well.
Well, you know, if nothing else, you should be entertained for a while with the new stuff.
Yeah. Attempt numero tresos. Uno, dos, queso.
Oh, I gotta quit picking caustic.
Gotta go back to the robots.
Back to my robot roots.
Your root bits. Gotta go back to the root bits. Who's this? Shoot, bitch. I'm gonna give that up to you. Take us to the promised land.
Alright, let's see. What is that little...
That's where Skulltown used to be.
Is this... That's the rig?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, the rig's... Okay. No, the rig... Wait. Is
Oh,
that
no,
the
that's
rig or
called
is the
salvage. The rig is up where Relay used to be.
rig- Okay.
I just looked at the map.
Oh, this is where we won the big battle a few
Yeah.
months ago.
Place will live in infamy forever.
Oh, no sniper scopes. Put it down. There we go.
Havoc rifle here.
Actually, I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Havoc. I'm gonna drop an alternator with a purple clip.
Here. Extended light mag here. Level 3. Light ammo here.
Yeah, since I just lit them up with that Havoc on that last game,
First blood. That was quick.
I'm gonna do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Take my old favorite, the Scout.
Yeah, like they were supposed to nerf the Havoc. It's one of the reasons I was using it in like every game,
Extended heavy mag here. Light ammo here.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be. I don't know. I mean, they probably did nerf it, but I don't notice it.
Somebody's zipping
Oh,
over
shit.
to us, I think. I don't see where they're at.
Looks like that champion was
I just heard a close by zip. I don't know.
Okay.
Stabilizer here.
Yeah, what is it? The same damage? per
Yeah, I
bullet?
think it is. I think what they did was the recoil changed. So I think like
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think what Grim was saying was the horizontal recoil is worse or something. But I don't
yeah,
know.
right.
I mean, I feel like I'm not any worse with it.
Flatline here.
Yeah, maybe it was just some minor inconsequential.
Oh, there's a
nerf, yeah.
bag. I needed a bag.
There's yet more energy down there.
Helmet
Okay.
here. Level 1.
Actually, that's more than I need.
Syringe here.
New kill leader appointed.
And pop this ultimate, and then I should have my ultimate after this. And then we can go
There's a 1 to 2
steal
X
some
body.
loot.
You want that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Because then if I get a select fire. I can
Oh shit! Dudes are coming
Alright.
toward us. Dudes are charging us.
right here with you.
Kill leader
Throw a trap.
Watch out for that window.
Okay.
Closed doors here. Never find out what's on the other side.
Oh shit! They're on the roof, I think.
Yep, I would say so. Oh, you're up on the roof?
Goddamn
Oh, shit.
stunning bullshit. There's 2 of them.
Damn!
Already inside.
Fucking grenade stun got me killed. God damn. That pissed me off so bad. I couldn't fucking move because I was stunned.
Sorry, woosah. Woo, siggity sa. Everything's gonna be gravy.
I hadn't heard that one before. Woosaw.
Bad Boys 2, I think. Woosah. Woosah.
Oh, okay. I've seen.
Yeah,
It's
when
been a
the-
long
the
time since I've seen.
Captain's
that. I
like
forgot
all freaking out. And I guess they had like some like in office or in station like therapy thing because he's like rubbing his ears, like rubbing from like the top of his ears down to his earlobes. He's like woosah, woosah. And he's like screaming like, how could you have fucked this up so bad? Because they go after a, I forget what
High caliber accessories.
they were trying to do, who they were going after originally, but they wind up like whoever they're looking at. I think the Haitians are gonna rob at the same time, so then they wind up like the Haitians try to like rob them and hijack this like truck, and I think it's a car carrier, and they're like driving up behind, and somebody's on the back of the car carrier, the tractor trailer, dropping cars off on the freeway, so they're just like hitting the ground and flipping and shit. There's another somebody with like a boat on a trailer that gets like the boat gets knocked off or whatever, and the captain's yelling, I'm like, how could you, what, 121 cars and a boat? How did you sink a boat? And they're like, the boat didn't sink, the boat was. He's like, shut up, I don't care. Just very entertaining. It's been a long time since I've seen it too, but
Remember,
Yeah, I like the Bad Boys movies. I wanted to see the new one.
yeah, that's on my list of things.
Freaking Martin Lawrence looks like he's been stung by a million bees, though. He's like twice his
Really?
original size. I mean, like he looked like he had put on like 50% of his original body weight
Shit. Yeah, I haven't seen them in
since Bad Boys 2. I haven't either. Like, you know, I saw a lot of Martin Lawrence movies when he was more popular, and like just the change in appearance was
Right.
striking. And you know, Will Smith doesn't look all that much different from the
Yeah.
90s, you know. Somewhat, but
I mean,
not
it's
much.
weird. You think that they both would have the money to stay in shape and shit.
yeah, I mean, and I mean, Martin Lawrence was always like I wouldn't have said he was skinny, but he was like kind of slim, you know. But I don't know. I mean, hell, you look at I don't know if you ever saw that show Chips.
Yes, long time ago.
Or like the what's his freaking name on the show? Anyway, the Latino guy, but I can't think of his Eric Estrada or whatever his name is.
Okay.
he was like, you know, he looked like a fucking athlete on the show, and he got pretty huge. I think, I mean, lots of people gain weight when they get older, but it was funny to see, fucking
Close range.
Will Smith looking the same and Martin Lawrence looking like that. It was strange. He
Yeah.
doesn't look like quite the same person, you know.
Yeah, and he's just a little guy, so.
Yeah, he's like
The weight.
exactly. He probably like gained 5
Yeah,
pounds.
the weight just looks like it does more to him. There's a 1 to 2.
Exactly.
Mid-range.
Oh, I could use. No, it's not what I thought it was. Alright, where to?
You want to go toward that fire?
Okay, yeah.
45 seconds remain before closure.
And plus, I weigh a lot more than I used to, so it helps me feel better about myself to talk shit
I mean-
about Martin Lawrence.
That's how that works.
We've got 30 seconds to get to the next ring.
Bring somebody else down so you feel one step up.
Yeah. And that's self-esteem,
Yeah.
children.
Is it not in here?
We've got 10 seconds.
Shit.
I hate to say it,
Yeah,
but
this
moving
place
time's
wasn't
up.
looted. I don't hear it anymore, do you?
Dude, yeah, I heard. No, it may have been over in the desert or something there.
Oh, there's some stuff in some weird spots over here, so people were here.
There's a blue backpack.
Oh, yeah, I got one of those. Oh, yeah, and that's open. So, yeah, people were definitely here.
Somebody's coming.
Open supply bin
Alright,
here.
I'm with
Somebody's
you.
coming.
Damn it, someone else got here first.
I don't think that was you. No, I heard steps while you were standing still. I think. Yep, you hear him.
No,
I feel good about this care package.
maybe. I don't know.
You don't hear that? They're absolutely certainly right around us. I mean, it was running. I've got my game audio turned up a little bit, so
Oh, it
don't
sounded
know
like
where
a
the
door
hell he
just
went,
opened.
that was me. But I could hear him like thunk, 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 while we were both standing still. Oh well, they probably ran by us. They were probably like, I think I heard somebody. Maybe not.
Yeah, let's go check those
Yeah, I don't know
bigger
where the hell they're
buildings
at.
down here.
All right.
Yeah, I hear something. I don't know if it's shots in the distance, footsteps close, or like the material of my headphones squeaking against my ear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's boxes here, so some shit definitely happened.
Energy ammo here.
Look at this box.
Optics
That's
here.
funny. I don't
Yeah,
think I've ever seen it like that before.
I've never seen a box get stuck like that yet. Oh, blue vest.
The champion has been eliminated.
Looks like that champion was all talk.
Here's 8 shotgun ammo. if you
Now
need
I'm
it.
light and heavy this game. Thank you, though. Did you just open or shut a door? Okay.
Yeah.
I know you got me all worked up now.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell those guys went, but like, I know I heard the running sound.
Double tap trigger.
Wanna see out? Yeah, is that coming from Slum Lake or is it coming from out in the desert?
I don't know. Yeah, let's just pick a direction and go. Because I am not able to tell.
Well, go toward the. Yeah, this. Go ahead, go for it. Whatever you want to do. Oh shit! I fell.
Oh, you're. Oh shit.
Oh, the
Okay, yeah,
wall's
let's go
coming
the
in.
other
I
way.
guess we. I thought we still had time. Oh, there's shit popping.
Oh, now I hear some shots. Now let's get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's in front of bunker, I think.
Oh, they're in here in this
Oh, are they?
neighborhood with
Shit,
us.
okay.
Yep.
Extended light mag here. Level 3.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's healing somebody or getting somebody
there.
up.
Enemy right here.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, bitches.
I just got a bit of that at the end there where I got a couple ticks on the burns.
Yeah, I didn't. I got hurt and I didn't do a whole lot of damage before that guy went down.
Level 2.
Here's a med kit as well.
Optics here. Close range. Med kit. Phoenix kit here. Barrels. Optics
I don't know
here.
what you need.
Optics here. Close range. Phoenix
Just pinging
kit
it
here.
all.
I need something of that.
I need some of that. Just stop fucking pinging it.
Standard stock here. Level 2.
Oh, I got 2 med kits already.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Phoenix kit here.
Damn, so it looks like they took out 2 squads, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you see more than 4 boxes?
Oh no, maybe I miscounted. I was just thinking about it when I was in here. So yeah, okay, so I guess they just took out 1 squad. It seemed like more than that.
45 seconds. And the next
What
ring
is
right
gold
there.
in there?
Don't leave anything good behind.
Oh, skull piercing.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna drop some of these heals. Actually, I'm gonna go shields, drop some heals, and go shields.
Right, all right. Want to move on somewhere? I don't know where
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Wanna go
I'll
Want to look
follow
through
you.
here?
Yeah, I guess it's tough without Grim. He's always just running off in some direction, and we're just playing catch up.
Right, right. Yeah, I usually don't care which way we go unless we know there's people somewhere, and I feel like, you know, you need to make a tactical decision to not put your back to somewhere dangerous while you're fighting them, or
Or
you know,
if the
you know,
or if the ring's
there
coming
are
or
times when
something.
you should be tactical.
But yeah, for the most part, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. And like, it seemed like last time we were playing, he was trying to give up control. Like, oh, I don't care, I'll follow you guys wherever you're. I don't.
Yeah, I'd say
I don't
so,
care
yeah.
where we go.
I mean, I
Yeah, I mean,
think so,
just
too.
like I don't care where we go. What I don't like is I don't like being
Right.
left behind. Like I don't like to not know that we're moving or that like
yeah, like,
he's going somewhere.
I
Just all of a
agree.
sudden, like I look up and like, oh shit, like you're like crossing the river. Oh, I had no idea. You mean because like if I don't
Yeah,
know
that's,
that's happening,
yeah.
then it's like if I knew it was happening, I could prepare. I could go with you. I could whatever. But like sometimes it just happens,
There better be some good loot around.
and I'm just like.
Yeah, it's a recipe
Yeah.
for disaster.
I'm just like, what the fudge, bro? Or I'll start moving another way because I didn't know that anybody picked the direction.
Yeah.
Extended light mag here. Level 2.
3 other squads. Damn. It's a lot of area to be.
Yeah, I wish I could look at what my damage was
Well,
right
what
now.
I'm trying to say. I don't know where to look
Yeah,
for
me
'em.
neither. I mean, I think we can see the edge of the ring across there.
Well,
So
yeah,
we can
that's
see if
true.
they come out of bunker. But I mean, most of the in-ring is behind us, so I don't know.
I wonder how well these bushes hide you to an external observer.
It's hard to tell because I see your outline. But
Yeah,
I don't know. If I wasn't seeing your outline, I think I see like your
yeah, like you say, it's
gun
hard
and yeah, right there. I think it's just like your gun sticking out, so you probably would blend in pretty
that's
well.
kind of cool. Was that bunker door open? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
open now.
Yeah, that was open.
All right.
Oh, I hear
Oh,
shots.
shit.
Oh, I see the bullets.
I'm watching that spot.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't have any kind of zoom sight.
A couple of them they're walking that way. Oh, that's, okay, so weren't they firing at somebody across on our side, but down in the valley, and now there are 2
I
squads up
think
there?
I thought that too. I think it was just like they were missing and it was going past. I think it was somebody shooting from like
Yeah.
higher on the hill to lower on the hill.
Yeah, I'd say
Do
you're
you want
right.
to zip across? See if we can get in round.
Okay.
How serendipitous. Those care packages likely shift the Delta.
Or there's 2 care packages right there if you want to go. Whatever you want to do.
I'm afraid to go after him, really.
Well,
I
we
mean,
can zip. Oh, there's a wraith running.
I bet we'll find some.
She just set her portal down there in those trees.
Never
See, I wonder if that's the 3rd squad. Okay, there, her buddy's running. Damn, I don't know what to do. Do you want to attack the guys on the hill, or maybe they'll chase him? Maybe they'll chase him down.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Tough decision.
I don't see where the guys on the hill went.
Looks like they're
Oh, they're coming across. They're coming
Oh.
across the zip.
one down.
Target down.
Fuck. I almost fell.
Throwing Dark Star. Throwing frag.
Ooh, I broke the shield.
Nice, good shit.
Down.
The end of that squad.
Heal up,
Hell yeah.
because people saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a purple shield here.
Body shield here. Level 3.
I got a red Eva.
Optics here. Barrel stable. Extended light mic here. Level 3.
Shit, I'm pretty
Okay.
geared, honestly. I'm wondering where the other 2 squads are at now.
One went.
Those guys were fucking dumb to zip
That
over
care
to
package
us.
is open now.
Just
I did see people going into that building earlier.
let's see what we have over here.
Shit.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to get back up to you.
45 seconds until the ring closes. We've got time. but
Uh,
not much.
Yeah, I'm on the cliff side here. I mean, I can climb up, but I don't know
Yeah.
if you can.
Oh, I got my
Um,
bracelet. Yeah, I'll be.
And there's the balloon there, but... Oh, yeah, okay.
Jump drive.
Oh no,
30 seconds to
that
get to
didn't work. Didn't go high enough.
I'm
Shit.
not carrying.
Alright. So people probably just saw a silver light fly into the sky. Good move, Loba, you dumb bitch.
Oh, I might have seen him. I might have seen him running like to come up the hill here. I'm not sure.
10 seconds
On
until
one
the
of
ring
these
closes.
sides. I don't
Grab
know.
what you need, and let's go.
Alright, I'm watching the.
Oh, we're going to have to move.
Okay.
Shit. I'm gonna...
Alright. Yeah, we gotta go.
Another gas trap. We are all outside of the ring.
Do you want to take the zip now, and then... I don't know if that really takes
No,
us
it
where we
doesn't.
need to... Oh, that doesn't take
yeah,
us
we
where we
gotta
need to
go
go.
down this
Never
way.
mind. Is
We
the
could take the
hill still in
balloon
the
and
circle is
fly
what I wonder.
Other side of the
Yeah.
ring?
Like,
Like up?
yeah, I'll
Okay.
follow you.
I don't know exactly where. I guess like
I
right
don't
over
either.
here. So we're at least. Oh
Yeah,
no! Don't
high
go into the
ground
ring! Don't
anyway.
go into the ring! That was a bad move.
Woohoo. Oh man, that's close. These rocks up here are still
That's
in
where I was
safety.
trying to land.
Just barely, but-
Or maybe it was this rock. I don't know. But I overshot. I definitely overshot.
Oh shit, the next circle is down there in the valley. You know these guys are
Yeah, I
holed
never
up.
realized.
Extended supply bin over there.
Oh, they're fighting.
Supply bin there.
Oh shit, they're fighting.
Yeah, let's
You
go.
wanna take... Wait, where are they?
I don't know.
Where was
Minute
that?
until the ring closes. If you want it, bag it.
Sounded like around that building, but I don't know where.
Bless you.
Yeah, they're in here. I have no grenades.
Do you have your ultimate?
I'm trying to... Oh!
Recharging shields.
Oh, they're on the roof.
Tossing an arc star.
Oh shit, okay. Can you get to
Yeah, I'm
safety?
behind this. Oh, he just jumped down.
Tossing thermite.
Oh,
Oh
One
shit,
down.
I'm down too. It's just you and this guy above on the roof. He's on the roof.
where's he fucking at?
Recharging shields.
You can see his shadow. You see his shadow there? He's still no. He just jumped down. He's coming.
Oh yeah.
Good shooting though.
No! What? Oh my god, dude. I did 190.
Gee, really?
1 fucking 90
Jesus
to him.
Christ.
God damn it. What do you do
It
to
sounded
me?
like a 99 he had.
124, 188, 197. Oh, he did over 200 too.
Yo, wait,
God damn it.
burnt toast?
Fucking Spitfire. That's... Well, I got the first guy with the Spitfire, my part of the first guy, and then 190 to the second. Motherfucker. Man, that's a bitch. I thought he was out of ammo too, because he blazed at me without hitting shit. So I jump out there and start blazing on him, and then he's got enough to do 210 or something to me. Maybe 215 or 20. I can't believe that. Like, I mean, he was like...
Yeah.
I mean, that was a lot of his mag. He must have switched. He had a 99. He got me with the partially with that and partially with the flatline. He just switched weapons. I got P. I'll be right.
Yep. I had somebody on my friends list named Burnt Toast. Or was it Toast Burnt? Some weird shit. Who was that? ZLG Slow Joe. I was just wondering if it was like the same dude. You know what I mean? But I guess not, because I don't even see that broski on the... Okay. Yeah, I used to have a
Oh,
friend
dude, I was,
that was
I was
Burnt Toast on my Xbox, but I don't see him, so I don't know if we're not friends anymore or he changed his gamer tag. But
I quantify skill by the
Oh yeah.
what are the odds? But go ahead.
Oh, the other day I was at Walmart and I was like on the snacks aisle, and like I noticed Great Value brand chips, you know, Walmart brand, had like a queso flavor. I was like, huh, it's $1. I'm gonna try it, you know.
I'll take care.
And like it's pretty good. It was just it was mostly just like a cheddar flavor with a little bit of spiciness, very little, but like the flavor was good though. And I also tried like some salt and vinegar ones, and they're like $1 a bag for a decent
Yeah,
size
I've
bag.
had like their Dorito
like,
ones.
They're pretty good.
That's a good spot.
Are those
Yeah,
pretty good?
like they're the Cool Ranch ones. Before Doritos upped the amount of Cool Ranch seasoning they put on theirs, they were on par with Doritos Cool Ranch. Now they upped the
Gotcha.
amount and they actually advertise on the bag like more Cool Ranch flavor.
Yeah, Doritos was always kind of chintzy. I mean, in
Yeah.
recent years with their spices.
Yeah, I would agree. And for what 98 cents or whatever it was, like they were on par for
Yeah.
Doritos.
Yeah, it's like half the size. It's like half the size of the Frito-Lay party size bag too, or something. So I mean, it's not like a tiny little. It's like the size of other discount
Yeah.
chips, but even cheaper and maybe a little better.
I would say so. Here, take that. I got a med kit. Take this med kit.
I bet we'll find something.
No, the med
Shotgun
kit.
here.
Damn it, the med kit.
Oh,
Med kit here.
thank you.
You can have that.
Let's go.
Currently, I am
Heavy ammo.
double light with
I don't want the E-Bud.
Oh
I'll
no,
throw
I
it
was
down.
pinging the Oh, what'd you pick up for the if you dropped
Oh,
the?
I don't have charge rifle, but I already had it. I think I picked up an
What?
alternator.
Oh,
Here's
and you'd rather have
shotgun ammo though.
charge rifle over
Sniper ammo here.
anything else? You a crazy man. Well,
Well, I don't really like the charge rifle, but I need a rifle.
Okay. Oh
and
shit.
I don't want the map. Oh
Okay,
god,
I have a P2020 with hammer point if you want those.
I don't know where he's at. No, I'm good. I got an alternator.
Okay.
Shield cell here.
Thank you. He was like up on the stairs, I think.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a shield or anything, so maybe we should go somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm gonna go over there.
This way. Let's go.
yeah.
Oh,
Barrel stabilized. R301 here.
no,
You don't want that?
you take it, brah. Got me a shirt.
Oh, we got Pulse.
Okay. Oh, actually, I'm gonna give up.
Oh shit, they're up there.
Okay.
I'm
Alright,
charging.
I'm with you.
'cause-
Hammer point.
Oh shit!
Oh god, what?
Damn.
Dude, that was dog shit. That was dog
Yeah, they
shit.
lit you up from 2 angles. That sucks. I didn't even see that guy.
Oh, I didn't know 2 people were shooting at me. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see the guy to your left.
Okay.
I just saw his bullets.
I thought I just heard pop pop from the wingman, and I was dead, and I was like, okay, right.
Wingman ain't that good, brah.
Yeah, I thought some shenanigans that were afoot.
Shenanigans are afoot.
I was. Where is? I was going to say where's Rim, but I want to tell you something funny in a sec. I'm gonna message the squad and see if he's getting on.
Yeah, he said he'd be on later. I don't know.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Entropy is the natural order of the universe.
My thesis, the willing will survive. I got a friend, the
What do you get for the girl who has
friend I
everything?
told you about all the time telling lies and shit. But like, oh, that's him. Okay. All right. Cool. But like I saw him post on Facebook the other day. Well, first of all, okay, one day he asked me if I want to come out to his house or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, bring a few beers if you feel like it, and like, I'm frankly tired of buying beer for him. And like, but like I was like, well, you know, I'm kind of running low. If you want me to, I'll bring you some. You know, I mean, if you want me to, you want to buy it, I'll bring you some.
Right.
And he's like, I guess we'll both. I guess we'll just do
Is that what he
you know?
said?
But I had some beer. We said, yeah, I guess good company will just have to be good enough or whatever.
So, that's
like,
scumbag move.
like he's got a wife that well, it's not as bad as I'm making it sound. I mean, he's bought me beer occasionally before, but like, yeah, it's kind of scummy. But anyway, he's got a wife that doesn't fucking work, and you know, the bitch can get out there and make some money, and he can have some beer money if he wants it. But anyway, but what the fuck am I trying to say? Yeah, so anyway, I brought him a couple of beers out there. And the very day I brought him beer, the dude's on the stairs in my building.
Oh,
I got
shit.
no gun. I'm running. I'm gonna
Oh, there's people in the bottom. I'm being chased, and there's a guy down here. All right, I knocked one.
Oh shit.
Enemy down.
I'm trying to get
Oh, is that
down,
not you?
trying to
Shit.
get-
Oh, yeah,
No.
they're from both sides of me. Fuck, 2 different squads.
I'm
No, you're
sorry, I
fine.
still got no damn gun.
It is what it is. Oh, now they're shooting each other. Leave me alone. Let me just crawl out of here.
And that's not it.
Oh, I just got the elimination, so somebody killed somebody. There is a person down here still.
I've got no gun. I might as well just get you up and let's see.
All
if
right,
we
there
can
is somebody
find
down
something.
here, so run and hide. So there's boxes down the other end. I don't have any more ammo. I had 30 energy ammo, and I am out.
Yeah, I think they might be coming after us. I'm running to this outside building.
Oh yeah, I hear them sliding and shit.
Oh, there's helmets over here. Okay, I'm
All right,
coming. I got
I'm
it.
coming to you. I still didn't even get a chance to heal up yet.
Recharging my shield.
Oh, the A buildings aren't looted, it looks like, so we can get some shit up there.
I got a med kit for you. I think I hear him.
Thank you. Alright, I don't have any bullets, so I need to go. I need to get something.
I got. Oh shit! Here they come! Here they come!
Shit.
Fuck! One down.
Alright.
Calm down.
Let's move to this sector.
She's right above you.
My abilities. 1 minute until the ring closes, and everything here has gone for good.
Oh, she climbed up
Yeah.
there, I think. Oh, no, not there. There.
Recharging my shields.
Spotted a subject. I have a subject.
And the next ring is right there. Don't leave anything.
Alright, I'm shielding.
She keeps juking back and forth. She jumped down. Wait, I don't know what she's doing, dude. Okay, now she's underneath. Now she's underneath.
Spotted a subject.
Running out this back
30
door.
seconds to get to the next ring. If you go down,
Alright, I just heard them shield up. Let me shield up.
Shielding, oh, that's you. They're running in the next A building. Downstairs.
Just killed their partner, so they're not tagging us.
enemy killed.
Oh,
That's a good way to.
I got you.
Here she
10
comes.
seconds.
yeah, I could tell they weren't very good
Yeah.
the way they were shooting, but
Got you. Another squad down.
whatevs.
Yeah, and running, constantly running.
We're all outside the body shield here. Level 1.
What up, Grimbo?
Hey, Grim.
Nothing much.
What's a
Chilling.
Yeah,
game?
chilling, killing fools, spreading their guts on the ceiling.
Oh shit. Sounds vicious.
Grim, I was telling Joe, this friend of mine that's always telling bullshit stories. Like, he asked me to come out to his house the other day, and I said, cool, you know, he's like, bring a couple of beers
And he
if you
didn't
feel
have a
like it,
house.
whatever. Right. but,
Almost.
but he's like, bring a couple of beers if you want or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, I told him, you know, if he wants to buy some, I'll bring him, and then I just ended up bringing a couple anyway, right? And
Well,
like,
tell him what he
but
said.
anyway,
Tell
that
him.
day,
So
he
he
was
says,
like-
all right, if you want
Oh,
if you want
yeah,
to buy them, I'll
like
bring
when-
them. I mean, I'll stop and get some for you if you want me
Yeah.
to buy them.
I was telling him I was
And
running
he's
low on
like,
money.
I guess.
Yeah, and he was
Oh,
like,
so you pick up some from him?
Well, he was saying, he was
Yeah,
saying
right.
that
But he was like,
I'll stop and get some for you, but I don't have any money. To buy beer. So the guy's like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess just good company will have to do.
yeah,
Like,
and like,
yeah.
so that's kind of shitty. But anyway, I get out there, and I just brought 3 beers. I bought one for me, one for him, and one for his fucking deadbeat wife if she wanted one. And like, which I know won't, ain't enough to get you drunk, but well,
Yeah.
it's charity. So like,
Yeah, you're not trying
So-
to get everybody trash.
I even let him have 2 because I was going to drive back home, and his wife didn't want one because she had like a abscessed tooth or something, and was taking antibiotics. But anyway,
What a bitch.
like,
R99
Right.
yeah, but like the day I was out there, he was like,
level 1.
and I don't know why he brought this up the very day he asked for beer, but he's like, yeah, my wife doesn't like me drinking. I'm gonna have to. This might be my last beers. I'm gonna have to stop drinking. I was like, okay. I just thought it was a weird time to bring it up when you were literally fucking just asking me
Well, I
to bring you
guess-
beer. But okay,
They had that
whatever.
conversation, and he's like, "Oh, I might not
So,
be able to
like,
drink anymore. Hey, buddy, who buys me beer? Do you want to come bring
Right.
me beer because I might not be allowed to have anymore?"
Yeah, it was bizarre. But anyway,
Light ammo here.
like, and then the other day I saw a post from him on Facebook, and he was like, "Does anybody know where the
Close range.
AANA meetings are around here?" And I assumed it was
So wait,
he
the
was
next
talking
day
about
after?
no. This was later, but it was the other
Yeah,
day.
okay.
It was like a day or 2 ago, and like I thought, I guess maybe he's really trying to quit, but it could have just as well been his wife looking for him. But anyway, so like today, after a couple of days ago, he posts the AANA shit. He messages me, and he's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, sitting here looking at Facebook, whatever, He's like, "Man, I wish we'd go play some pool."
Level 2.
And we can technically go play pool because the bars are back open here. So like, I was like, well, I don't really feel like not. It was like 9:15 when he messaged me. I don't always feel like going out at night when I'm settled in for the
Right.
night or whatever, And I was like, but we can play soon or whatever, And then like, he was just like, yeah, whatever, And then like 2 hours later, he messages me and says, "I just want to get fucked up." I was just like,
Oh,
what the
right.
fuck? Like, what the fuck, dude? You're a back and forth motherfucker. Like, oh, this might be my last time drinking with the free beer. Oh, where's the AA meetings at? Where's the NA meetings at? Oh, I just want to get fucked up.
But that's like also like the way he is with her too, right? They're like, "This fucking bitch, I'm fucking done. She's moving out. I'm over this shit."
Yeah,
and
same
then
thing. Yeah, he's
then it's like, "Oh, I love
bipolar.
her."
I mean, I don't know if that's really what you'd call bipolar, but figuratively
Yeah.
speaking, bipolar.
And then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, do you want to be my best man?"
Yeah, yeah.
So you're gonna be his best man?
Like, it's ridiculous.
Close range.
Well, yeah, man, I just thought it was funny as fuck. And I want to say to him, well, if you want to get fucked up, you have a job. Go get fucked up. You don't. Why would I need to go play pool with you for you to go get fucked up? I mean,
So you
Yeah.
can buy it for him, probably.
yeah.
He probably wanted you to pay for the fun times.
Oh. I'll tell you what, for a dude that had, like, when he got this, I mean, everybody wants to sound good, and I do too, about our prospects and everything, but when he got this job he's got, he was saying what a good job it was. And then, like, every time I see him, if I mention I'm running low on money, he's like, "Oh, yeah, me too. I ain't got nothing this week, man. Can you bring some beers out here, man? Oh, I can't even afford beer, even though I've got this job." So, I mean, I'm assuming his wife that won't work or whatever and just sits around the fucking house all day, like, is sucking all
Well,
his
you
money
know
from
he's a
him.
liar.
Or maybe they do more
Yeah,
than just
you
drink.
know
Yeah,
that he
like, he has no money.
lies.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, his wife was, I think she was on horse or something before, like around the time they met. But he really, I don't think he does anything but drinks now for real. I mean, that's just what I gather. But yeah,
Right.
you
I
never
mean,
know.
nobody knew that.
But
I mean, I was
I don't know.
like when I went to jail, I can't tell you how many people were surprised. Like, what? He's what? Like, I would have never guessed that he was in the thick of it so bad that he was doing stuff to go to jail for it. You know what I mean? Like, I was still
His beard is perfectly
yeah. Like
trimmed.
I actually my beard was a development from jail. I had a chin strap
okay.
before that, like a dirty little teenager.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, so like people were super surprised because like I was doing all the stuff I was doing. I was still like 400 pounds. I mean, like just didn't look like a junkie. Like you would have no idea. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
And that horse was fucking me hard.
Oh yeah, I mean it oh shit! Well,
Oh
enemies
shit!
right over
Oh
here
shit!
behind us.
Oh shit!
Dude, I cannot shoot right now. What the fuck? Oh my god.
What?
That's okay. We need to play some trios.
Yeah, I shot her and maybe she had a red shield, but she like, I feel like you said something about this, Graham, where they glow red or something.
Yeah, like when you shoot them, it'll pop.
Yeah, but not like, it was weird. It looked like she was surrounded in Revenant's ability. You know, like that like red glowing orb. That's what it looked like when I shot her. It didn't look like
Oh,
a
okay.
shield thing. It didn't look like, it just looked like she was standing in the middle of a Revenant ball when my bullets hit her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if I've noticed that or not.
It was weird.
I was just shooting terribly there. I was just so fucking pissed. Oh my god. But they were both shooting at me too, so it's kinda... It'll just piss you off when that happens
Yeah.
anyway.
But now we got our ace with us.
Wow.
Ace of Grims.
Yeah.
When Grim and I were playing the other night, he was saying something about, in duos. What was it? They're more daring. Kids seem to rush in faster or something. You were saying, Grim. It's kind of annoying sometimes. What were you saying about duos? That you think that kids are more reckless in duos or something?
No, in duos they seem to stick together because there's only one other
okay.
person.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
But then in trios they allow more space between each other because they feel, oh, I still have two other people even if someone starts shooting me. It's easier to pick people off one by one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Brr. Kings Canyon.
I say we land here.
Some market shit.
Market the shit for the market the shit. Stuff in the bark and the mark and the bark. Biggity bob the big. Yeah, man, that biggity bob the bob the big. Biggity bob the bog the big.
Freestyle.
Packing the back in the back of the act.
Packing the back in the back of the act. We're back in the back in the back of the act.
Here's your mastiff up here. Somebody's
Just pick
flying
one.
in.
Oh yeah,
The sound.
one down,
Coming.
one dead. Oh, they just dropped. They literally had nothing. How were they getting here so late?
Took care of that one.
They had a mastiff
that
and
was-
8 bullets.
That was dumb.
The other guy's here, I think.
Oh yeah, somebody's
Yeah,
zipping. I heard that.
Roof. And there's somebody else.
Okay, I'm
oh,
coming.
shit, right
I'm
on
coming.
me.
I'm coming.
Shit, coming.
Taking some damage. Alright, enemy down.
Oh, you punched him to death?
Well, finish him off with a punch. Just to make
Okay,
him.
okay.
Just
Feel
to really hurt his
disrespected.
feelings. Oh, ship is coming
Put him in
over
a
us.
place.
So maybe that's.
Oh, shit.
Shit, anybody have any? Yeah, do that. Anybody have a syringe?
Yeah.
Syringe?
I got
I
you.
haven't
Oh,
found
actually, I
any
have
yet.
two. I just
Okay.
realized
I'm
I
just
have
dropping.
two.
Light ammo here. Syringe here.
The ship's going to the next place over to the right.
People are on the roof.
R301 here.
I'm just down in the.
There's a
shit,
301
okay.
and bullets over here.
Uh-oh.
Light ammo here.
Shit, there was a blue star or blue thing. Where was that at?
I don't see the guys on the roof.
Oh.
They might have
okay.
jumped down. Oh, I hear them. They're around the outside edge. They're
Okay.
over here.
Yeah, just got pulsed.
Yeah, get some, kid. I'll fit him for like 130.
Nice.
Boom, bitch.
I'm gonna take the shotgun bullets.
Sniper ammo here.
Damn, there's nothing in there. I mean, nothing worth a fuck.
Where was that blue shotgun bolt? Somebody pinged. Was it in the box?
In the box
Okay.
up top in that corner. Where I punched that
Sweet.
bitch,
Nope. Shotgun bolt here.
Wait, why did that look like it was gold when I was in there?
yeah. Oh, here, I have shotgun bullet.
Oh, sweet. Sweeteroonies, gracias to the mossiest.
Spitfire here. Gotta hop up here. Double tap trigger.
Extended light mag here. Level 1.
Standard stock here. Level 1.
That's not what I'm trying to.
Prowler SMG here.
You can have that standard stock. Hold up.
Extended light mag here. Level 1.
Ah, unequipped.
Standard stock here. Level 1.
Unequivocal.
Oh, here's the place of our wonderful fight that we tore them up. Oh,
What's this place up here
this,
called?
yeah, this is salvage.
salvage,
This is,
okay.
it's the skull salvage. Ooh, a purple bolt. I'll take it.
Thermite grenade here. Light R301 here. Extended sniper mag here. Level 2.
Attention. Delivering care package.
Incoming care.
3 boxes of shoddy.
Okay, yeah.
I could use
Yeah, I
heavy.
got
Here. Level 1.
like 2. I can share some. I got like 2 stacks of it.
Shield cell here.
There's 4 little shields in there.
Oh, a blue bag. That's what I needed it.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 3. Barrel stabilizer.
Oh, do you
here.
got a prowler?
Up here. Select fire.
There was a prowler somewhere.
There was one in the other building. Yeah, I remember where it was. Like,
Yeah.
oh, was there a select fire? Yeah.
Longbow DMR here.
Yeah, I'll take that shit.
Knockdown shield here. Level 3. Knockdown shield here. Level 2.
I'll drop some shield cells in case somebody needs it.
Level 2.
So,
You need that level 2
No, I'm good.
stabilizer, Joe?
He pinged it, I thought, originally.
yeah, I did. I picked up a purple. That's right.
Do you need it, Grim?
No.
Yeah?
he
Oh,
just-
no, you
yeah.
pinged
he
it
just
second.
pinged it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I'm gonna go get that select
Just-
fire.
okay.
Or the prowler. Prowler. You
No,
haven't seen
I'm
another
looking for
right?
one now.
No.
Bless you, Matt.
Ah, I
shit,
see
okay.
somebody.
Okay.
Heads up, got one here.
They're behind that rock running towards the market. I don't think they saw me. They don't even have to come this way if they
Well,
don't want. But
we are.
I'll move that way anyway.
We be.
Yeah, he climbed
Oh,
up
yeah,
on the roof.
yeah.
of Market.
People just ran
Oh,
down
fuck.
from
Despot.
the
damn it.
thing
Something good here.
to the right of market, whatever that is called. Which we go to it all the time. We need a name for it.
oh, Loba just do her thing over there.
It's right in front of me.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, they're
another
going
dude
into the
climbing up
market.
onto the roof. Yeah,
Sending out my decoy.
Oh, they got under the roof.
yeah.
Decoys, Gage.
At least one. Oh, he's. I saw him jump up. He's like bunny hopping.
Airstrike.
You got bamboozled. You got bamboozled.
Oh, I got pulsed.
You got bamboozled.
Holy shit. I just keep saying you got bamboozled over and over. I
Oh,
guess.
Birdman's in the
All
building.
my decoys.
Get the bamboozling.
Don't know where I just heard his thing go
Alright.
off. And we just got pulsed again.
God damn it, this is getting on my nerves.
I wish I had a.
Nah, he's still on the roof, I think.
Yeah, I think he pulsed from the roof, dude.
Oh.
It looked like it was coming down, kinda. I
Well, no,
might
if
be wrong.
two of you think he's on the roof.
God damn, she is almost
Oh,
dead.
she's down. Oh, but he got me.
Other one is right here.
Oh, there's
she's
a
got
Gibraltar
gold
right
shield.
here.
Fuck. Oh, Grim, you need to get up here, dude.
I'm up, I'm up.
They're right here
Oh,
on
he
me.
just jumped in, but she's getting herself up right here.
This way.
She just got up.
Does she have a gold fucking bag? She just got herself up? I don't know if
Yeah,
she
she just
did.
got herself up.
Get him like full fucking shit.
Yeah, she must have
Fuck.
had a gold bag. She must have had a gold bag. That's a bitch.
Christ. So
I don't know how she
did,
beat me.
Like 90 something damage to her.
Yeah, damn, that sucks. She had a gold bag for sure. She probably had 100 total points, and you were within 10 of killing her.
Yeah, I
I
was
hit her
being
with like,
reckless. I just thought
a
she would
bunch
instantly
of
die,
him
and I was
off.
getting fucking raped.
yeah, Joe came up and finished her off after I had hit her a lot, but I can't believe I couldn't defeat her, dude. It pissed me off so bad. I should have looked at my death recap. Her sneaky ass partner was up there slinking
Yeah, I
around.
seen him.
Popped up out of
He
nowhere.
fudged me up. Oh yeah, Juggernaut energy. It's good in your bones.
What do you get for the girl who has everything? More.
You get them a nice big
Introducing your champion.
pea soup bowl.
I'm the jump master.
Giving that up.
For me,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, master of the jump, right here. Follow the leader. Might be something good there. I want to cancel that.
Shit, I think we got people landing with us.
throwing jump drive.
Yeah, somebody is with
I
me.
just
Unless
used-
that's one of you.
Yeah.
That's me,
I
but
just, I was gonna say I just use my low, but you,
Body shield here. Level 1.
I have people at different shooting.
you
No, I
see
don't.
him, Joe?
Oh, someone got the party started. Grenade here.
Damn, I hear him. Oh, he's firing at somebody over here. This is two people over here.
There was a
Shit, I'm
thing.
coming here.
What was the thing over here that I was trying to get? I forget. Whatever. Oh, body shield. Unless you guys are wearing it.
Hit him for 68. Their partners are jumping off the end down here. One's down. Up on this tank here.
Enemy killed.
Got another one down. But there's another squad here somewhere too. So
Reloading. Enemy
Yeah,
killed.
give me that mastiff. Forget that. Give me your body shield too.
Is that what it were?
yeah, they're in this building. Woo!
Yeah, bitch. You got
Take
bamboozled,
off the
hoe.
scene of the slaughter.
Optics here. Close range. G7 scout here.
Oh damn! I need light ammo real bad. I got 2 rounds and that's my only gun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was
No,
only
just
7,
mark
but I
some,
can give you
just
some.
mark
Yeah, I got.
Is there any on that?
Light ammo here.
Thank you,
Actually,
thank you.
don't know.
Anybody need energy?
No, not at the moment. That was
Oh, what's
the
that
rate,
noise?
the thing
hey
in the
guys,
hole,
36.
thing in the sky.
Ah, that-
Oh, okay.
I need a bag.
Was this shit all looted or? Did you see this, yo? Right here? I
1
dropped
minute
like
until
40.
the ring closes, and everything here is gone.
Oh, I picked up 2 of the boxes and didn't see the other one. That's weird.
Is there a bag
Thanks.
anywhere?
Level
Well, I dropped the other ones. Oh, 99 and mag.
45 seconds until the ring closes. We've
I
got
didn't
time.
see the mag. Oh, I wasn't looking for it really.
I just found that. Where was the 99? Oh,
in this
box here?
in this white box up in this. That's not an enemy. In this circular thing here.
Joe, I think you picked
It's
the
in,
99.
it's
Where
in,
was
yeah,
it?
it's in
Here,
one of the
here it is.
boxes.
Here it is.
Box here.
In that box.
It's in that white box
I
in the
checked all the
circular
boxes.
in the tank.
Yeah, it's
No,
definitely.
you didn't.
Oh,
You didn't
there's
see
another
this
one
guy.
in the tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I see a purple
Oh, finally a
shirt.
bag.
No,
Finally a
it's
bag.
purple helmet.
10 seconds.
Alright, I'm dropping the mastiff.
Optics here.
Blue shirt over here.
Here. Level 2.
Actually, yeah.
In progress.
It's 40 heavy.
Heavy ammo here. Hemlock here.
Optics here. Level 1. Heavy ammo here.
It's a 1 to 2. Anybody wants it?
Yeah, I could take it as 0 to 1.
Go,
Okay.
go ahead if you want it.
Shield cell here.
No, I don't. I don't need. Where do you guys want to go next?
Oh, the storm's coming.
Oh, there's a bunch of heavy here. Actually, enough I could probably run heavy. I wasn't because there was not a whole lot. But there's so much heavy. Oh, I'll take this helmet.
Thermite grenade here.
It's 1, 2, 3, it's 5, 4 boxes, 5 boxes.
Standard stock here. Syringe here. Shield cell here. Standard stock here. Level 2. Syringe here.
Alexa, play Mercules.
Shuffling songs by Mercury's on Amazon Music.
Yeah, so that's-
Shield cell. Oh, I don't have a bag either. Jeez.
You don't have any bag?
No, I thought I had one because like everything I was picking up, I had room for.
Having here. Zooming out my decoy.
301. There's a freaking font bag.
Flatline here.
Yeah, so they don't need my call outs.
I think this place needs a little more. Hey. Yeah.
And across the river is looted.
This way.
The way you marked.
Yeah, right from there.
Okay.
Just what I
That's yours is okay. I hear something popping off towards the caves. Far away though.
All right, I'm zipping up here where Joe's at. Take a peek at the
Yeah.
cave here.
Oh no. Fuck. Found a select fire. Dropped a fucking prayer. Somewhere back there. Can't remember.
Yeah, maybe in the maybe in those things around the cage. Did you see anybody,
No.
Joe? Oh, it's popping past the cave somewhere. I can't tell where that's at really.
Right around where you guys said you had that good fight or whatever it sounds like.
Oh, the salvage there.
Yeah.
Bad guy over there.
Oh, you see him? You see the dirty bastard?
I don't see him, but I can hear it. That's where it's at.
Six other squads. Oh, now I see fire. Oh shit! It's. Oh, that's stupid fucking decoys. Oh,
And there's one over there.
I felt like he might have seen me, so I figured I'd pop his ass first. Well, yeah, one is sliding to the front of that building, and one is on the roof. Dude, I've hit him for about 120 on the roof.
Throw my grenade out.
Oh, this kid on the roof is dumb.
Tossing thermite. Got a minute until the ring.
Down the guy on the roof.
Want it? Bag it.
Down the guy on the roof.
She's popped. Pretty. Oh, she's coming behind you. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, strap bullshit. Oh, right here, she's hurt.
No, there's some shit in there.
Oh, here's her buddy. Damn.
On top.
Oh, on the rock, on the rock.
TikTok, 10 seconds. Firing. Reloading.
Whoa! Let me put a cool guy shirt on real quick.
Oh, way to go. Shit. I didn't know that much of the fucking... I didn't know there were that many motherfuckers out to get us.
Got everything under control.
Oh, does Mirage go invisible when he heals now?
Yeah,
When
it's
he's
the
reviving
thing.
somebody?
Oh no,
Oh
the
shit,
fucking
the wall's
storm's
coming.
coming in.
Yeah, if you can get to those boxes, you better get to them. Oh, you already
Purple,
have. Okay,
purple one in my box. Purple one in my box. Shirt.
Oh no, no, no! Shit. I've got to run. It's round 2.
I need heavy bullets. Fuck.
Grim, here's a zip. Grim, you need to heal.
Oh yeah, shit.
It's round 3.
Take the
I'm
zip.
not gonna fuck no. I ain't fucking take it. I didn't realize I got that low. I'm just gonna try to run in. Alright. I am in.
I got a med kit for you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have a single shield cell?
Here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shield cell here.
That's enough for me. That's 4.
That
Here,
sucks.
you need.
There's
If anybody
so
needs them,
much,
let me know.
Light mag here.
so much shit in those boxes.
Yeah.
Heavy? No. Oh, we can go this way too, right? It looks like we can make it on the map.
Yeah, that's fine. You always fine with me. Yeah, that's a bitch. We didn't get to loot those boxes.
Yeah,
I need ammo
so
too.
many.
I mean, I'm okay, but it'd be better to have some.
I have
more
not
ammo.
seen a throttle either.
We've got 30 seconds to be somewhere else.
I stocked up on.
I can spare 2 throwables, one for each of you
I'm
or
good.
whatever.
Yeah, I'll take one.
There's a bunch of blue, or not blue,
Alright,
purple loot in that other
Here, I'll give you an arc star though too.
building I want. There's a blue bag.
What'd you
Bunch
say?
of purple loot up here.
Oh shit! 10 seconds for next ring. We can't get burned in this one.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! So we gotta go this way. You wanna cross the river or stay on this side? Left, right?
Whatever you want to do.
Eyes off and we're not in the ring.
I'm just gonna follow you guys.
Shield battery.
Do you need a select fire? Or no, you got a select fire. You need a prowler. What do you need?
Nah.
Somebody's shooting at us.
Oh shit. Dudes
I
are
don't
on the
need
roof
one.
up there.
On the roof?
I'm
Oh, yeah.
gonna drop this select fire then.
Oh, and there's somebody in this building too.
What building, Grim? Oh, that one? Okay. Oh my god.
Oh, we're pushing shit. Okay.
I'm throwing a zip up there, Joe. Oh, you're up there. Never mind.
Oh, there's another squad over there. Like something that's like 120 fucking health or some shit.
They're popping on each other. They might ought to play mop up.
That squad's pushing in.
God damn. Got pulse.
That guy's like running away. I'm gonna move up top.
Oh, they're up the hill.
Nobody's.
Oh shit,
They're
there's
up the-
people up
around
top.
that.
There's people up top.
They're on the roof.
They're on the hill also.
Down that
Oh shit, they're
one
right here.
on the roof.
Oh dear. Damn, that can't fuck me out.
Rings close. 1 more minute.
It's just you, Grim.
Joe dropped in the river below you.
Oh, you guys are down? Fuck, I didn't know that. What the fuck? Oh man.
We did pretty good though. Oh, you guys want to play ranked?
Yeah, I'll play ranked.
There's a
Yeah,
little
sure.
spice in there.
Yeah, I had no idea that we were pushing. I'm playing catch up.
So I just climbed up top. And then there was nobody up top, but you know we're still surrounded.
No, I mean like I was across the river and I looked up and
Where'd
you
you go
guys
up
were on the other side of the river.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Are we doing ranked?
I don't
Don't
know,
look
I
like it.
forgot.
Is it? Well, you could have.
I did. I wound up getting up there that way, but
Yeah. What? So I'm on like this Resident Evil fan group page, and somebody's showing pictures of like gun holsters with like a certificate of authenticity from like a prop house. I mean, that's how it goes. I've seen it on what's that show? Rick and the old man, Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars.
If you can
Yeah.
afford it.
And somebody's like, how much did you pay for them? She said, I forgot, I think it was like $40. $40 for like a major prop like that from a pretty big movie sounds very cheap.
sounds
Yeah.
sounds made up.
Does sound cheap. Where'd
She's
you-
definitely making that up.
Does it say what movie?
They were Wesker's holsters and Resident Evil Afterlife.
Well, yeah, that sounds cheap.
I love this spot.
I don't get. Is Wesker like a dude in it, or is that Mila Jovovich's character? I can't remember. I watched Resident Evil movies, but I.
Albert
Didn't see all
Wesker,
of
he's
them.
like a bad guy.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like an evil
I
villain.
meant to see all of them, but like
Eyes on the prize.
it'd been so long since I saw the first three of them that like I'd forgotten the plot and I didn't want to watch them all over again.
I mean, they're, for the most part, standalone. Still
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah,
much
I
get
like
it.
the like each movie picks up right where the last movie left off. Like the same scene. I got somebody up
Yeah.
here with me.
yeah. I don't see where they're at, but I
They're down.
Oh, way to go. There's guns in here.
God, I thought that was somebody else popping up or something.
Oh, somebody's down low here.
Okay. Good shit.
Dude, oh, that's you.
Third one right here. On me.
Oh, yep. Went under that porch. Oh, and a fourth one down here. Oh, they're way over there.
There's another squad. There's two more people
Yeah.
right here.
I just heard a Loba behind me too. Fuck.
Yeah, you're being chased by two people, Joe. Three people.
There's one on the roof. Oh, they just dropped off. Another two are in my building.
Pull your gun out.
Yeah.
Shit. Fuck!
No. You were doing great.
Oh shit, that was right. I forgot. Oh well. Oh, I actually can't lose anymore. I'm at the lowest gold can go, so I'm safe for now.
I made 8 points, so not too bad.
Time to dig up some gold. I'm the jump master. Don't worry, I'll take care of you.
I wish all of you could fight while the jump master is defeated.
It's just not fucking working.
The quickest way to earn heart is releasing them.
I don't think we ever land here.
It's been a long time.
Well, people will probably land at that other thing where the dragons are always screaming, so we can gun up and go over there and kill them.
I'm not sure where the nearest one of those is to here.
Where, what?
The dragons
What you're talking about with the dragon cage? I
Right
don't know where
across
closest
the
dragon's
river.
cage is.
at containment, I think, right? That's where we landed.
Okay, okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where are we going over to containment?
Yeah, yeah. Containment,
Yeah.
that's what it's called.
Yeah. I'm just getting that scope real quick, Grim. Then I'll climb up on the roof and drop down.
Looks like a Loba just went
Yeah,
to the
people
other
are out there
building.
firing at somebody in the river.
Yeah.
Somebody's back here,
Somebody's
Somebody's
right
real
near
close.
you.
behind that rock.
Oh,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
I see.
they're all
Yeah.
crouched.
Yeah.
They ran away.
Oh, over here. Wait, where'd she go?
There was a
She's up
fast
here
ledge.
somewhere. Fuck. She's in this building.
Fast Legs is?
Quit running, you bitch. I think so. They're too fast for me to know if it's
right
fast
over there,
legs.
it's like a few people.
Dude, they won't confront you, but they'll literally run circles around you all day long.
Got him. Burn somebody else's shield. Gibraltar up there. He's paying attention to me.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both there. Wow.
There's 3 of these motherfuckers.
Nice.
I am the ultimate killer.
Ultimate killer.
That was hilarious. Oh shit.
Need a white shirt in here that's full.
Oh, there was a blue shirt somewhere I saw running up. I'm gonna go swap it out. There's a bunch of heavy down here. That was
Somebody's
no,
making
that-
very-
Really need a
That you?
rifle.
Okay.
Optics here. Sniper.
Light ammo.
There's a stack.
Light ammo here. Heavy ammo here. Hold on, I need to heal.
Here's an empty blue shield. Zero, I figured you would have got one out of the boxes.
I didn't see any in there. Oh shit! Somebody's here.
Fuck.
So yeah, the shirt's in that building. If you want to go get it, I can drop you a thing.
Okay, they're
Oh yeah,
buddies
here's somebody
here, though.
sliding around.
He's on the roof.
I was just on the roof.
Yeah, he just.
No, he's not on the roof.
Yeah, he was moving.
Yeah, he was on the roof. I just chased him off.
Nah, but I was getting shot from behind somehow.
Somebody sent him gas traps.
There were 2
100%
guys.
I
I
was
don't-
getting shot from behind while I was climbing up.
Fuck, I'm out of ammo almost. There we go.
Oh, I just did 30 down. Oh shit, there's somebody behind us, Grim. Oh, I'm fucking surrounded.
I got one of these bitches.
There's one person right there, and one person just went up the steps.
I don't have any shields left. I gotta execute real quick. You know where
No.
anybody else is?
Yeah, in here.
Alright, there we go. I got bullets.
Oh god damn. He's got a shotgun. He's running. He's fucking around all around here. He just threw out his decoys.
Oh, he's on the roof. I thought you were saying he's inside. Fuck.
I said he's fucking around all around here. I last saw him on the sidewalk throwing out decoys, and then he climbed up on the roof, I guess. Good shit. Oh shit.
Not so good shit.
Yeah, if I knew he was on the roof, I wouldn't have been trying to peek in the windows.
If I'd known he was on the
Things
roof,
like
I'd
that.
tell you, but he
Yeah,
was
no, he said he
inside.
was fucking around.
He was
Verbatim.
inside. He ran out on the sidewalk, and I said he's fucking
'Cause
around
I could
all
hear
around
him.
here. I said he's
Yeah.
fucking around all around here.
I thought he was running
Yeah.
because it looked like you were looking at him through the door or something.
I was. He ran outside, threw all his decoys, And that's when I said he's fucking around all around here. And then apparently he had just climbed on the roof. But he threw out his decoys, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, you know?
Gotcha.
We were positive in that game.
Yeah, I made 10 points. I made $10.
You about treat 50.
Got 46.
Nice. Sounds like shit's going down inside market.
Yeah, wanna go there? Where was that
I just
heavy
picked
at?
it up here.
It disappeared.
It's on the... Okay.
Yeah.
Compadres, heavy ammo here.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
New kill leader.
Want to go to market?
Sure.
Sure, sure. I hear
Yeah, see
him.
them right in that building? In that room? It's a Mirage, just did his ultimate.
Yep.
At a caustic, where's Travis?
They're all under the front here.
Yeah,
Somebody's
one
in
is
the back corner.
in that room down there.
One down.
This guy's got his shield broke.
Oh, it's somebody behind me. Oh, it's a whole squad behind me.
Yeah. Oh god
They're all
damn.
dead.
Yeah, there's a whole squad
you
behind
know?
me.
It's another squad. Uh, his buddy just chased your decoy. Oh shit. Yeah, that was a rough battle right there. I can't believe the other squad followed us when we were following the squad.
Can't stop, won't stop. Excellent. Time to destroy more opponents. I got this thing in a box. Or there's a bag. You know, whatever the case, we're winning. Watch for my traps. I'll be watching you. This is awesome. I'm the jump master.
Alright.
Let's try this old pity shitty. Maybe it won't make my fucking boosters come on 10 seconds early and make me hover to the ground after every other squad.
Maximum boostage.
Nobody landed with us?
Everybody got the box for the day?
Yeah. You guys want to do something different and go to like runoff or
Bolt,
something?
shotgun bolt.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. What's that? This way? Yeah.
No.
Oh,
This, oh yeah, you're right.
2 to 4. Oh, let's just loot it. I hear people this way.
Oh, yeah, I see them.
I think. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Oh, you oh, the lobe. Oh, that is the lobe. Yeah. You see where they are? They're running between splits over there.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay.
Oh, now they're running that way. They might be leading us into their group, so
Okay.
be careful. Oh, God,
Oh, shit.
damn.
Oh, yeah, I see somebody right here.
They're over
Where they
there.
at?
Oh, shit, and there's somebody over there, too. Oh, yeah, they're setting a trap like a motherfucker.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Can't believe it, dude. Got you, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah,
three
keep
of them.
that
No,
log.
he kicked it. He's coming in behind you. It's like, maybe there was more than one squad.
Damn it.
Well,
Maybe so.
Zero was fighting somebody behind me.
So,
So if there were three over by you, then it must have been...
Yeah, I downed a guy back in my room.
oh yeah, there's definitely nobody down there. Unless they got him up, but I was shooting at two people, they were still alive, and the third one seemed to come from that big room with the hole in the ceiling.
Yeah, so I guess it was at least one extra person over a squad because I had one down. So if there were three in the hallway,
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Or maybe that Loba was trying to run away, and that other squad was still over there.
Maybe.
So maybe it was four.
Yeah, so she didn't lead us to a trap. She just happened to get lucky and find a squad that was willing to down us.
I'm back.
Alright, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could land in the dome of that shit.
Yeah.
R99 here. I'll take that. Fire here. Mira, light ammo here. Backpack here. Barrel stabilizer here. Level 1. Yeah, I can do that. Barrel stabilizer here.
Well, you're a robot. I mean, a loot tick. I think I know where he is. Oh, yeah.
And it's weird. I saw stuff in their game before, and I thought that it was just like, I thought somebody had come through and like put it there. But I guess stuff just spawns out, like right here in the middle of the floor. That don't make sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right out in the middle?
Oh,
Yeah, like it was like right here. It was.
Yeah,
It was a med kit and I don't know something else, but it was just like right there and in there.
I think I've seen stuff spawn here before, like
Yeah,
these grenades.
yeah. I've never seen it over like I don't know.
I haven't either, really. I can't
Very
remember
weird.
anyway.
I could use that. Heavy back here. Optics here. Close range. Barrel stabilizer here. Level 1. Save that for later.
There's a shitload, probably 100 light bullets in here.
Select fire.
Thought I remember seeing one of them.
Shield cell here.
Oh wow, we got max run.
Wake up, ring moving. Syringe here.
That's 4 syringes right there. If anybody wants them.
I'm good right now.
Oh yeah, we gotta go far as fuck. Shit.
Yeah.
I probably should save them in case we burn in the ring. We'll just have to make sure we leave fast enough, I guess. Huh? Shit.
Another 99.
I bet that care package has some sweet gear for us. Flatline here.
The balloon's this way, right? Yeah, generally, yeah, that's the good shit.
Shit, I was trying to throw you a zip line, Joe, but I think you'll run to me before I can find a fucking
Yeah,
place
I'm
to
good.
attach it.
Definitely not the first one to pass through here.
So these buildings are gonna lose it.
Setting up a zip line.
Thank you. I
A little
can't-
bit
there
of
we
a
go.
zip
Thank
line
you.
there, Joe.
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 2. Grappling.
Yep, so there's motherfuckers landing right there.
Okay.
I mean, not landing.
Yeah,
right
we're,
Alright,
there.
we're
jump. Yeah, we're on the
we're
balloon
just
now.
on the balloon just now.
They're in this building. I mean, we don't have to go here. I'm just doing this while I'm waiting for you.
Faking him out with a decoy.
Alright. Where were the people at? Oh, I see them. I see them down the road here. To the
They're running
west.
away.
Okay.
Because my attack was just so scary, they didn't want to stick around anymore.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to push
They
them,
probably got
got
on the
building.
next balloon. Oh, they went in the building?
Yeah. I saw two. Maybe there's three. Oh, are you taking the balloon?
No, they're right there. I just wanted to see where they were.
Okay. Oh yeah, I might see one right in here too. Maybe not.
I throw a grenade in there.
Oh shit, one's on the roof. God damn, I keep getting fucked up in my ass on the roof. God damn. Medic on the
Oh
roof.
yeah, yeah, they were all up there. Shit.
Oh, did they? Fuck. Ooh, that was a sucky
Yeah.
one.
That brood.
I thought they were all in the building. But she like shot me in my back, but damn, I hurt her. That was a bitch. So are you pretty far into that Zelda game?
Not super far. I wasn't. One of the things that I saw in the video is like you can do whatever you want in whatever order you want. So I don't really know how the enemies scale. I've ran into a couple enemies that are just like super tough, and I kind of have to just run away from them and use like a special attack just over and over again, and like I can like conjure like a bomb sort of thing. So I just like conjure that and run away, and while they're like chasing me, I just drop it and wait till they're like stepping over it and blow it up. And I just do that for the entire fight until I win. Because like I die with one hit from them. So like I've ran into a few of those, and I don't know how, like, if I can go anywhere on the map that I want, I don't know how they keep it interesting as I get more powerful. I also don't really understand the leveling system. Doesn't seem like I've leveled up. There is no like clear indication.
Are the graphics good?
They're okay. It's it doesn't have as much power as the Xbox or the PlayStation. They're more cartoony style. I mean, they're less realistic.
Like what was it? Like Mario 3D type thing, like those.
Better than that. They're more painterly. They have like they look better than that. But I mean, it's like Mario or I don't know. I can't even think of another game that's. I mean, as opposed to this, where everything's like real-ish looking. But it looks good.
Light Crusader for Genesis.
No.
You ever play that?
I've never
It
played
looks
that
good though. It's definitely a good-looking game.
Oh, I saw some preview for a PS4 exclusive game that's coming out. It's like a samurai themed game. And dude, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it really looks like a painting. Like everything in the fucking game looks like a painting.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's
But it's
okay, open world. It's probably Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost. Yeah, something.
Oh, there's like another squad landed where I am.
Okay.
Fuck.
Okay.
I got a charge rifle. I'm on my way.
Be sure to
I got
blow me.
one guy. I've heard another guy.
I am fucked up. Oh shit.
Oh, I've got this guy on me.
Alright, that guy's down.
This is two squads with us, guys, I believe.
There goes that squad.
There's a guy in
You
here.
sure?
There's a guy in here.
Oh yeah, there was 2 Gibraltar shields. Yeah,
there was
there
a
were
second
definitely 2
ago.
Gibraltar shields.
Yeah, he's up. One of them's upstairs. Yeah, you see him. Oh, the one guy's crawling, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a Gibraltar with a lock shield.
Oh yeah.
I mean, his shield is, arm shield is locked.
She's getting them up.
You got one
Right in front of you.
running up the stairs, too, Grim.
Oh shit! What the? Oh my god, I'm dead. There's still one left, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's downstairs. She's coming up the rope. I don't know what she's doing. Last I saw her, she was there, but
Give me a shirt, bro. Give me a shirt.
I'm about to
I got
flip
you.
out.
Oh, Zero, come back. Ah, shit.
I'm almost gone. Well, the revive thing's right next to us.
Alright, I don't have any heals.
There's a couple more around somewhere. There's another one crawling
Yeah,
around.
I saw the one crawling.
Away, I think.
Oh yeah, one did run away. I thought the one you got was the one that ran away.
First one is empty. Oh. Maybe the other one left. But I downed two
A medic
people and
ran
got a
away.
kill for one.
Oh, this guy just
Oh,
bled
there we
out. He,
Oh,
so I don't know where the other.
Ah, cool. I just
I
took
think
the
his
bullets
teammate
back.
Maybe.
I took
Alright,
the
I'm gonna
other
get
guy.
Zero back. I don't have any health. Oh, I do have some syringes. Okay.
Yeah, I have no health either.
Nah, I got
shield
shield
for you.
cells. Thank you. I didn't think I had any health heals, but I do.
So teammate might still be around here. I don't know.
it was a medic. If you didn't kill a medic, she's the one that ran away.
Okay.
Says no hostilities.
She was running in the
His
direction that
caustic
Grim
trap
standing
is still here,
relative
even
to
though he's
us.
dead. So I guess she's still in the game.
Yeah, I think they don't always disappear unless. I'm hearing someone.
Okay.
There they are. They're in the back
Okay.
of this building.
Oh yeah, one is around this circular shit too.
I'm coming.
Bitch.
Nice. I was like stuck upstairs and shit. Alright.
Good shit. Here's 2 syringes. I'm taking one.
Yeah. I got some bullets up.
I picked a few out of there. I'm okay. I got 2 pistols right now.
Wall's coming in. We gotta go.
Oh shit, the wall's here.
Grim, are you out of shields?
No, I have some. I didn't get to do it yet.
I got some syringes too if you need them, Grim.
Zero gave me some.
Oh shit, I'm taking the balloon, I guess. I was just next to it. Oh, we got max run. Damn.
No, there's not a balloon we can go to also.
Okay.
I got a blue.
I'm just looking in this small little
Blue
building for a
light,
sec.
Let me know if you see a white shirt. So I don't have to waste that.
Nah, shit. I did see. Yeah, there's some back here, but
Ah, well.
Joe,
Let's
do you
get
have a
some,
shotgun? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Drew.
Pick up shield cells. That's all.
I got a blue
Oh,
light
you
mag
can
for
shoot
somebody.
I got one.
Okay.
I got a purple shotgun bolt if you want to carry it for later.
There we go. White
Purple
shirt.
shotgun. Yeah, I'll take it.
It's a white
carry it.
shirt.
I'm putting it next to that heavy mag.
So nobody needs this blue light, right? Okay.
No, I don't. Wow, another
Oh, shit.
purple shotgun
It's
bolt
here.
up here.
It's here.
Oh, here's a balloon right outside.
Yeah, we think we're a little late. We'll get a little bit burned in. Not bad. Oh, no, I might make it.
Yeah, it took like 2 ticks of damage. That's it.
We can fly again.
Someone just
Oh,
popped at us. It's over
Wonder
there
where
to
that's
the,
at.
by the hole in the rock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we'll take this and
that in? Yeah. Airbase is in. You want to go that way?
Sure,
Or to
whatever.
the right?
It's fine with me.
Oh, there's somebody on the roof. Fuck.
Oh,
abort,
shit,
abort.
shit.
I would fall short. Can't go
I can't
far
abort.
enough
I can't abort.
well,
I'm on the.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of boxes over here too.
Oh, got you, bitch.
Alright, scared him off. He's gone.
No, I fucking put him down. There's somebody else in here though. I'm once again asking
they
for
getting
your
up?
support. They ain't getting nobody up now.
Oh shit! I didn't realize this is gonna burn to run around.
You got him?
Yeah. There's a third. There's a third.
Oh shit! Zero, you should heal up.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Put a
get some
blue
good
shirt
shit
in
out
there,
here.
but it's fucked up. Actually, is there more heavy in there?
There's no heavy over here.
I'm
Yeah,
not in the one.
Zero heal. Zero
Yeah,
heal.
yours heavy.
Zero heal.
I'm running out in the circle. Yeah. Oh man. Once again,
Well,
asking
somebody
for-
else right here.
Oh shit.
And they did a Loba thing. So they're probably up above us.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they're definitely above us.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Ah, fuck, my second gun wasn't fucking reloaded. He's right here.
I got the one on the roof. Fuck. Where's she at? Where's she at?
Got him. Oh my god, I'm so almost dead though. Okay,
There's a third. There's a third.
I need to heal. I'm
Oh, maybe.
like 2 shot or 1 shot actually.
I'm healing too.
They're getting somebody out.
Yep, I'm getting somebody up.
I'm trying to find them.
4 hostiles.
Oh god. Oh god, there's multiple squads. There's another one in here too, Joe.
Oh shit, my guns aren't loaded.
They're both chasing me. Hell yeah, Joe.
Fuck.
Good going though. There are just too many motherfuckers. Too many motherfuckers in the house. But we're moving on up.
Yep. Just a few points at a time.
It's being really weird and jumpy.
Who, Opie is? Jumpy how?
It's scary.
Like when you're petting them or when you're...
Like, I pet him in the thumb and the back, and then I petted him, and he like jumped up and like backed into the radiator. And then, like, when we were like hanging out, like he didn't, while I was doing dishes with me, he didn't really want to stay with me. And then he was just outside and he was out there for like 20 minutes. And like, was just like sitting on the porch, waiting for me to come. And waiting for me around, and he was just sitting on the porch. And it was just like,
Did he eat anything on the walk?
and then, when we moved out there, like, there was, people at our watch, and he, like, and, like, it reminded me of, like, she coughed, and that's kind of scary, and all that, being scared.
Right, because like what will he do if he's scared?
Right. No, I think we should keep doing that. I
fuck? Did they ever call you back or not? Alright. Now, what time is the appointment Monday, do you know?
I say we land here.
Because I don't know if they'll be open tomorrow.
I do have a voicemail right here.
Here we go. It's a long drop.
Alright, I don't know. I'll pay attention to him tonight. We'll see.
Might be something good there.
But I agree, if he's going to be jumpy, then we should keep the appointment.
Shit, I hear
Okay.
enemies. I don't have a gun yet.
Oh no! I need
Tomorrow, okay.
shark. Oh,
Giant
time to
11, gotcha.
Now it's at the, when I get out of the shower.
Alright, I'm
Got
coming.
one down,
Okay.
You got her? No, no.
2 down. Yeah,
Somebody's sliding around me, too.
Last one.
Shit, I'm out of ammo. Fuck. God damn, he's got mastiff. Yeah.
Up, step.
I'm so almost dead. Yeah, fuck.
It's okay though, we took out a squad. Is there still a front door to the lab
I'm gonna
area
take chips
where you
outside.
can go
You
in the
wanna bring
door?
them in here now?
Yeah, I'll bring them in. I'm gonna ready up and then I'll be right back.
Grim, do you okay?
What?
Grim, do you know if there's still a front door to, or back door or whatever to the lab that you go through the black hole into?
A back door to the lab?
Whatever, a front door, the door
Well,
we
yeah,
used to go in.
Yeah, that big door. Yeah, that's still there. Yeah, they didn't change any of
Alright.
that. You want to do that?
Sure, it's fine with me.
Yeah, bud, come here. Alright, I'm back.
All right, we were thinking about dropping on the lab.
Okay.
Okay, I do lie, but not this time.
Says you're not feeling good. You're acting all jumpy. Something up? You don't feel good? What's going on, bud? Talk to me.
And then relocating to the centrally located inside training area, or CLIT.
I don't know. I've never been inside of a clip before.
Oh, is this
No,
not the
you-
door? Is this not the door here?
Yeah, I guess we
Oh,
can go in
shit.
that way. I thought we were going to go in the
Well, no,
portal,
this is the door.
but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we were
Oh, okay.
saying go in the door. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
That's
mention
fine.
that.
I didn't break off,
mention that.
so.
Oh, I hear people.
Oh, yeah.
Got one.
Alright, she's down. Holy shit. Nice. That finished the
two.
squad off.
Where are you at, Grim? Grim, are you present with us?
Oh, I've been muted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a box.
Oh, I hear more
Shit.
dudes.
I need a shirt.
Yep,
I
here
need
they come.
something.
Uh,
Is there heals?
Right
No,
there.
fuck!
Jim.
God damn it.
God damn it. always another squad trying to fuck with us. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah. Yeah, we're locked up.
Because that happens. You and me, friend.
You made the mistake of taking what unwanted. I don't feel like
Follow the leader. Never mind. How about this way?
I'm back. I made it. Finally.
Oh, cool. It's not a door? Nah, that's cool. That's definitely not a door. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was landing at a door that didn't exist too.
I just enjoy it. I like it.
Get out of there, Opie. Oh, okay.
Alright, do you guys want to go below us or above us or what?
Yeah, sure. What the hell is this? I thought this was going somewhere. It's just like a little pit I'm running in.
Down here is shit. Is the big ass place with all the.
There's just like a big ass fucking wall I can't get over. What the fuck? That's annoying.
If you really get stuck, let me know. I'll try to get up there and throw you a
Get down,
shit.
I mean, I'll eventually. Oh my god, just keeps going, dude. Look how far I have to go.
What the fuck? Dude,
That
you're
is
way far away.
insane. I thought there'd be a fucking opening or. Oh
stop.
no! Don't tell me, dude. It still doesn't stop. Jesus Christ! This whole since we started, I've been running along a wall
Goddamn.
of nothing.
You're a mile
Jesus
away.
Christ! It's over now. Yeah, it finally just ended.
That's crazy, dude. I didn't know about that shit.
Yeah, me either. I wouldn't have done it.
Optic sharing. Close range. R301 here. Rapid MG here.
attention.
Opie, cut it out, bud.
Yeah, there's people up here running.
Okay. I'm running towards you.
Opie.
Oh,
Opie,
I'm not real
stop.
far away from you.
Alright. Well, hopefully they just like, you know, follow me and you catch them off guard or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know if they. Oh, they are. Okay, I see them up there.
They're all the way up there?
One of them is. One of them was on top of that box, but I tried to run him off. I don't know if he's hiding. You coming, Joe? Got one down. Two down.
Back here. Oh, you got her? No. Yeah.
No, I did not.
There we go.
I meant that. I meant the one you got down.
Oh,
Was
okay.
two down.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. I saw
shouldn't
you
have said
coming.
two down. Yeah, I shouldn't even said that.
Alright, there's a heavy gun, right?
Yeah, there's a prowler here too. But there's all kinds of heavy guns down in that shit we were just in. There's like a flatline, Spitfire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here's a Slaypex and a
Oh,
prowler.
I thought I picked that blue bag
Oh.
up. Oh, shit. I guess not.
We got pretty long run after we're done looting. I'm running around to this side to see what it looks like.
I just kind of need heavy
Okay.
bullets. I only have 10 in my gun. Oh, I found one box. There's some unopened shit.
There's
I can give you a
45.
box. Or there's 27
Cool. Oh, there we go.
by the
It's still in
charge
here.
tower. It wouldn't let me mark it. There it is.
Alright. Cool. Oh shit.
Oh, yo, I've got
Storm's here.
4 med kits. You guys want a med kit?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't have any. Actually, with the gold, I don't know. The syringes, not even sure what's better now. Did anybody figure that out
I
yet?
saw in a video that it's the same time for everything, but the smaller heals
Oh, to do 2 or
do
more.
double. So that
So the two to do one big one would take the same amount of time as two small ones.
the times are the same as like whether you have the shield or not.
Oh, so it's still twice as fast if you use
Yeah,
so
so
that's the only.
the speed is the same.
A full shield battery will take off 1 second. Then it'll be 5 seconds instead of 6 seconds because the little ones take 3 seconds each, right?
Yeah, I think they do.
Oh, that
I
makes
think they're
sense.
3.
I don't know the
Yeah,
timing.
but the speed it
Yeah,
used to
the
be
small ones are 3. The big
it used to
ones are
be
5 of shield.
faster
Next 10.
like half the time, so they got rid of that. So it's just the small ones do double.
Somewhere right over here they were fighting. I don't see them.
Yeah, if I had to guess, somewhere in that area. It didn't sound as close to. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think
Sure, we'll
so
run
either.
into
But
them soon enough.
yeah, maybe they went on over that
Shit's
hill.
all looted. Burning stick in that room.
Oh, they're right down here.
On the roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
you like Bernie sticks, bitch.
Heard you like Bernie sticks.
Oh, they hopped off. In this room here.
Oh, yeah. She fucked me up. I'm okay, though.
Oh, they're up on the hill too. So I guess they're different squads. I don't know.
You know what helps when you have a flash fire? Just turn it on.
I got down.
Fuck.
down.
Yeah, they're still fucking in from the wall. I don't know where this bitch went.
Yeah, she's hurt. She probably just...
Yeah, there's people up here too.
Oh, she's coming in. She's coming in.
And there's somebody up on the wall.
I hear right here.
I'm trying to fucking hide somewhere.
Yep, they're throwing grenades in through the window. Oh, fuck. Another one on the roof. I didn't fucking see that guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
SWAT's here, so.
Do you want me to try to throw us a zip line to escape?
They're on the roof, and someone... I guess they're not on the hill anymore. Oh, they're in the wall. At least one person is.
Okay. Do you want me to throw us a zip line, guys?
Whatever you want to do, I don't care.
No, I don't mind. Whatever.
I'm down.
I broke somebody's shield with that frag. Oh, too many of these goddamn...
Yeah, that's it for me. I'm done for the night, fellas.
Alright, good game.
Adios, fellas.
Yeah, we had a lot of being gained up on by multiple squads.
Yeah.
Is that what happened there? Were you Wraith? Who was Wraith?
No one.
No,
Was that
none
an
of
enemy?
us.
Yeah, there were
Yeah,
three
it was an enemy,
squads
yeah.
there.
Yeah, there were... I mean, we were
I don't know if it
attacking
was
the
three
one-
squads,
yeah.
but
Oh, three, yeah,
there was
I
definitely
knew there was more than one, but
three areas that
It's a
there was,
bunch.
yeah, three different areas that people were shooting from. So, but whatever. I'm out. Adios, fellas. I'll see you Monday, maybe, whatever.
Nah.
Yeah, Monday, I guess it is. Adios.
All right,
Sounds good.
have a good night.
Yeah, I don't have the patience when, like, I'm just being ignored and it's... Yep, so it's just not fun for me. So I'd just rather not play. I'd rather play something else, do something else. I have 1,000 other things I can be doing. So if it's not fun, why subject myself to it? But thank you for stopping by, those that did stop by. I know this is a surprise stream. It's actually 2 weeks in a row I did a surprise Saturday Slaypex stream. Probably won't be a regular thing. The weekends are usually my time with the girlfriend. That's because I'm usually working during the week. So I don't know. Don't know what's gonna happen with the schedule. I don't know. Maybe nothing. But anyway, so thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Whether it was Facebook, Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, whether you were here for a minute, 5, 10, or an hour, you showed me that you think that I'm doing something cool enough to spend some of your time on, and I really appreciate that. I also appreciate all the engagement I get on social media. It's Mechanic on all socials except Twitter. It's Mechanic G. Also, there's a second Instagram. Instagram is it's where I'm at the most. More so than the comments in any videos or whatever. If you want to contact me, Instagram DMs is the best. If you don't have my number, of course. If you have my number, call me. But yeah, there's a second Instagram that's art.mechanic. That's drawings, illustrations. I'm working on digital stuff currently now in between games and when I get off here. And paintings and stuff. I might do some paintings with the girlfriends. So there's going to be stuff going up on the Instagram, on the art Instagram next week. And most of it, probably everything that I put up will be for sale. I'll even post some of the pictures, paintings that are in the room currently that I'm looking to sell. So just DM me if you're interested or whatever. But that's it for me. Adios. Thank you for stopping by, everybody. Those that didn't stop by, you already know the